San Diego County officials talking about a plan to protect renters. Chair of the Board of Supervisors, Nathan Fletcher, joining us once again, outlining those discussions. Nathan, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, this might be confusing to some, maybe not as much to others, but there are two parts to this topic. First up, tell us about the temporary rent cap proposal. What is that all about?
Yeah, this is a proposal brought forward by Supervisor Nora Vargas. It's her initiative, and it's really just a temporary, just for a few months as we work our way out of COVID, as people get back to work, as they get back, our economy gets going again, to try to not have people evicted, to try and not have their rent increase for just a few months here, a temporary measure, as we kind of come out of COVID and get the economy going again.
In terms of the message to landlords who are against this idea, what do you say to them? Because you say, well, it's just a few months. It's like, well, a few months could make or break some people.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the proponents of this and the opponents of this are both, I think, acting as if this is an existential issue that's going to significantly change the entire landscape of the world. It's a temporary measure. We're coming our way out of COVID. The economy's coming back up. People are getting back to work. We can take for a couple months and say, hey, we're going to try and keep people in their homes as long as they're not a threat to the health and safety. And then it will expire and folks can go back to what they were doing before. So, you know, there was a lot of folks that have been economically harmed by COVID, and we don't want to add more folks to the homelessness. I understand there's a burden on landlords, but it's just for a few months, and there is massive sums of money available for rental assistance program, for tenants, for landlords, for other types of folks. So I think this is a step we can take that's a humane and compassionate one and helps us get through the crisis.
And the key word, again, being temporary, a few months, like you said.
Temporary.
So in other words, there's no differentiating in terms of whether it's a big rental company, if you live in one of those big company high-rises versus the mom-and-pop rental, right? It's all the same. The cap applies to everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, it is all the same. It gets tricky whenever you try and delineate kind of who it applies to and who it doesn't to. And I think, you know, I think if this were a permanent measure, there'd probably be some more thought given to those kind of delineations. But given it is a temporary step, just a pause. Let's keep people in their homes unless they're a threat to the health and safety of those around them. Let's allow the economic stimulus to kick in. Let's allow the economy to get going again. And you know, we've got enough homeless folks on the street. Let's do what we can to keep people in their homes while we recover from COVID.
Yeah, let's get back to the eviction, because I know the rent prices won't go up. It'll be capped, but then also you won't get evicted. Talk to me more about how that's going to work, because to get to the point of your rent's not going to go up for a couple months, that's one thing, but then to the point where you are almost getting evicted, how will that happen in terms of landlords? You can't kick people out.
Yeah, I mean, you really should get Supervisor Vargas on, because it's her proposal she's brought forward, and so she's the one best equipped to speak to it specifically. But I think the overall goal is, you know, you're not going to have people face a rent increase during this couple-month process, and you're also not going to have them evicted during this couple-month process, and provided that they are not a threat again to the health and safety of those folks around them. And you know, again, I think it's a kind of a stopgap measure. It's a temporary measure just designed to allow people to get back to work and get our economy back up and running. And we'll see how the votes go today.
People trying to catch up to what everybody's doing. Are these different than the protections at the state level?
They go further than
they go further. Explain how and what the state is doing versus what we're doing in San Diego, because like you said, we're going further than this.
Yeah, the state basically has a mechanism in there that allows for evictions based on what they consider just cause. This removes that, and it puts a higher legal threshold or standard in that you have to be a threat to the immediate health and safety of the person who is there. And so it is a more stringent protection. You know, what we've heard is a lot of folks being evicted even while under the state protection simply for not being able to economically pay rent. Because they lost their job due to COVID. And so this really does go a step beyond what the state of California did.
And just so you know, Nathan, we're going to be at Supervisor Vargas's news conference at 8 a.m. live, so we will be there and asking all the questions. So we got those bases covered. Another topic on the table this morning, the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act. I don't need to tell you how important this is right now. If Congress passes that bill, what's going to change in San Diego County? A lot of people wonder, when something changes at the federal level, at the state level, how does it affect us here at home?
Yeah, I think one of the reasons it's important to support this bill is we've done a lot of criminal justice reform in California. We've done a lot in San Diego, and I would say, Raul, that the bulk of what is in this federal legislation really brings the rest of the nation to the California or San Diego standard. You have tremendous disparities in law enforcement across the country, and a lot of the initiatives, a lot of the reforms, a lot of the things the state of California has done to really increase our policing and have it be much more in tune with racial justice are things that have not been done in other parts of the country. And so if we could have a federal standard that would apply across the board, it would really lift everyone up, and I think would make a really significant difference in other parts of the country. So it would not have as profound an impact here in San Diego because a lot of the things in there are things that California has already done. But I think it would make our nation better, and I think it would continue the march towards trying to be a more perfect union and really reimagining policing.
Yeah. Nathan Fletcher, as always, boy, so much going on. We always appreciate the time.
It's going to be a busy day, Raul.
It is.
It's going to be a busy day.
Isn't it every day a busy day, though?
That's right. Every day is a busy day. I like it.